today's gospel, we hear Matthew's version of the Annunciation of the birth of Jesus, but it's the Annunciation to Joseph. And a couple of things that we want to see in this. Number one, they use the word in the English translation, Mary was betrothed to Joseph, but before living together. We have to remember the Jewish wedding ceremony had two parts of the marriage. First was the contract where the two were actually married, and then the second was after the bridegroom would go off, prepare a home for his bride. He would come back with his friends, and he would take the bride into his home, and therefore they would consummate the marriage. So sometimes that would be a gap of, say, a year or a year and a half between contracting the marriage and actually consummating the marriage. So this shows us something. Number one, that's why the angel says to Joseph, Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary, your wife, into your home. He doesn't say don't be afraid to take Mary as your wife. We want to make sure that even though we can see the Holy Family as a model of people who trusted when things didn't go according to the normal schedule, like unplanned pregnancies, we're not talking about single parents here. We're talking about two people who were actually married already, but just not living together. Joseph wanted to divorce her because that was what was right according to the law. He thought that she had betrayed the marriage, and he wanted to divorce her quietly so that there would be no scandal and she would not be brought to punishment. So he's doing what's right and just. He's actually doing the religious thing, but with compassion. And God intervenes and actually tells Joseph, Joseph, listen. In a way, what God's saying to Joseph is, listen, this is from me. This is from this is of the Holy Spirit. It doesn't seem like what you're used to, but it's me. So here's a man now, Joseph, son of David, who basically, by taking Mary into his home, is going to be proclaiming to everybody else in a way that, okay, this is my wife, and he's basically going to let the other people draw their own conclusions about him and about Mary, that they weren't able to wait until the proper time for the consummation of their wedding. Imagine that. Imagine God asking you to have your reputation be criticized even though you didn't do anything wrong. But just asking you that in order to fulfill His will. This is the kind of radical yes the Lord is asking from us. Something that is beyond sometimes what we can imagine. We ask the Lord today to give us that kind of radical yes to the Lord, so we can say, Lord, let it be done unto me according to your word. Or as we hear in the gospel today, that Joseph, he did this. When Joseph awoke, he did as the angel of the Lord had commanded him, and took his wife into his home. May we do the same. May we take the Lord into our home, even when we don't understand what it is that He's asking us.